Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Talking Horses. Greg Wolf and Andy Serling. We got a similar thing going on with the Blues. I'm
Yeah, I
a
like that.
brighter.
You know, straighten this
We did
tie up.
not. We did not discuss our clothing choices. Anyway, we got a pick six carryover today, over $90,000. Just saying, haven't had too many of those. I can't remember the last 3-day carryover we've had.
That's incredibly rare.
The winner of the I'm going to run yesterday, 9, the 8th race yesterday. That horse ran extremely well to win. I had kind of originally wanted to make a bit of a case for her. She just looked overmatched and sort of against the track. And there were a couple of aberrant races, but for the most part, the rail just continues to be very much the place to be.
Got to pay attention to it. For me, yesterday, there was a Lena Rice horse that went off as a favorite. I was just dumbfounded by it, that I could not believe. Who got beat?
Which horse?
It was early in the card. I'll go back and look. But did not have the figures, and it didn't work out for those who bet that one.
You know, it's tricky. I think when when you have an extreme bias and you do this show, you do post. To me, I don't want to give you a bunch of picks saying this is who I'll bet if there's a bias, because they're all garbage if there isn't a bias. So while I'll lean that way, and I think as any horse player, you have to be ready to adjust on the fly, you know? And I mean, there may be a horse. I'll give you a perfect example. Aggregation. Aggregation was a very hard horse to like on a fair racetrack. But on yesterday's racetrack at 5-1, that horse was eminently playable. And, you know, you've got to be willing to adjust. And, you know, if you want to marry yourself to our picks beforehand, go right ahead. But I think any horse player that's, you know, when I played full-time for years, you play seriously, you've got to be willing to say, well, the horse that I like in this race just isn't going to be able to win. And it's one thing if it's a 8 to 10 to 1 shot. You want to bet a few dollars, like yesterday's 8th winner. Okay, fine, but you can't bet horses that are 5 to 2 or 3 to 1 or less that you figure are going to get against the track trips. That's just a bad gamble. And conversely, if you get a bigger price that can get the lead, no reason not to play that horse.
Bottom line, you have some time to see how the track is playing before we get to this pick six carryover. Yeah, be flexible.
And you know, it's interesting. I put up on Twitter. If you look at the Beyer speed figures for the horses that wired the field yesterday, every single one of them ran aberrationally high. 10 points higher, and that is a real, that's one of the great things about speed figures is they'll tell you when a bias is really taking place. And, you know, somebody was saying to me, well, you know, then you'll just throw all those speed figures out going forward. Well, yes and no. The horses that were with the track, you want to reduce the number going forward. The horses that were against the track, you've got to raise the figures going forward. It's not a universal thing, and it's all part of what makes playing the horses frustrating but fun and the challenge. Anyway, we got 9 to talk about. We'll head over to NYRA Bets. Bonus 200. You know the drill. Play through NYRA Bets. Any track, anywhere, anytime. We have this is Greg. I mean, Greg has been very excited about this. 75 or more here at Turf Paradise. $15 bonus. And we have the carryover, 91,497, starts in race 4. You are doing the first 4 prattles. I'm doing the last 5. No, I'm doing the first 5 prattles. You're doing the last 4.
Oh, that's fine. What you said sticks.
Greg normally leaves early. You know, to be fair, you have kids to pick up and things to do.
No, I'm staying late.
But today, Greg is staying late. Race number 1. And race number 1, yes, my picks reflect the possibility of a bias. But even without a bias, as we talk about the race that shadow banking, and you've got, you know, Roger, who's clearly a better horse based on what he's done. But given the success that this Chad Summers barn has had over the last year, this is a barn that has almost doubled their win in the money percentage prior years over the last year, something you literally never see. And this horse projects to be the lone speed. So even without a bias, this horse interests me, given how, I mean, look at how much this horse improved from one start to the next. I thought this horse had a chance to wire the field, so I put him on top. You've taken the more logical Roger.
I'll be honest with you. Same as you said, putting the bias aside, I almost put that horse on top, the 4. I think that 4 is incredibly interesting, and I love
right, on a fair racetrack, the horse can wire the field.
Yes.
Right.
Took blinkers off last time out, was forward. I think it'd be even more forward and dictate things today. Having said that, yeah, I think C Vista actually, I mean, only a couple of tries on dirt, and that horse that was second behind, I know I'm going to get to the 5,
Well,
That
we
horse-
can show Sea Vista's last dirt race.
Oh,
too
okay.
back
Do you wanna do
while
that?
Yeah, show it now.
Okay.
We'll talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, Vital Mind's pretty darn good, right?
I
Who beat this one?
Proved 8 buyer points off of that win in
Yeah.
the next start.
92 buyer with a win next time out.
He just burns so much money. You know, he's been in 3 dirt races. He's been short prices every time, short on synthetic, and he just doesn't win. Doesn't that bother you a little bit? He's
Not
the horse
re-
to beat.
3 dirt starts, faced Uncaged first time out,
Okay.
who ran a Triple Crown race, right? Not that well.
I don't remember. But I'll take your word for it.
But yeah, Vital Mind
So it was a
obviously is
Pletcher horse,
very good. But having
he
said
ran the
that,
Belmont. I think he ran the Belmont.
yeah.
Yeah.
Having said that, to me, Roger, just 2 incredibly fast races for this
agree.
level, where the horses paired up those figures. Time to Win, who beat this horse on that fast track back on December 4th. 103 buyer for Chad. And I know dipped down a little bit, but a 93 buyer next time out.
But the thing
still
about
was
this horse is he ran just only 4 buyer points lower, and he was a little against the track last time because I thought the track was very kind of speed last time out.
Thoroughgraph had him exactly the same figures.
So yeah, I this horse I thought ran as well, if not
Yeah.
better, even the next
Yeah,
time.
so I thought paired up those figures off the bend, well, short layoff coming back, but I think it's going to move forward. Looks like to me the one that has the most room to move forward in this start today. So, but I mean, Sea Vista is very interesting, but it's going to be a short price.
Yeah, I'm going to try to wire. What about Limo? Limo didn't run that badly last time, going a mile, cutting back in distance. What do you think?
I thought you had to be a little more forgiving there.
Yeah.
I see it with the 4, the 3 is a bit of a
Doesn't
stretch.
have much speed, and that could be problematic as well. We'll see what happens in race number 1. Race number 2, I have no argument with you as we show pair of socks. This is the horse to beat. I mean, this horse, I'm not criticizing Jose Lescano. As the race played out, he moved too soon.
Yeah.
As the race was being run, he was riding the horse the right way. It's one of those things that you go back and you say, in hindsight, I wish I'd waited a little bit longer. But that's the easiest thing to do, you know.
Having said that, still ran huge.
I thought the horse ran extremely well. My only concern is, how confident am I this horse is going to run back to that race? If she does, she's going to win.
Yeah, I just feel like, and look how far back it is to third too. The horse, it's not like this sort of came out of nowhere. The horse was trending in that direction. All the races were steadily getting
agree.
better and better and better. And it was
Better
a
and better.
stablemate, by the way, that beat this horse last time out with another horse who had that kind of similar trip outside. I just think this horse is going the right way right now, and we can see. I don't think we're going to see a huge backup from that effort, even though it was the best the horse has ever run.
Even against the racetrack, source the horse to beat. Now, the one who I've got 4th and you have nowhere, he looks to be the controlling inside speed, and he's another horse that I could never bet this horse in a million years. I don't like this horse's recent form at all. But having said that, what happens if it's a big inside speed track again? This horse can wire the field, and he's not a horse I want to bet on in any way.
And I'll just say this horse has a couple of efforts that are among the fastest in the field.
No question about it.
3 starts back at Aqueduct. That race is incredibly quick. There's a
agree.
race at Monmouth back in August. Another one, incredibly quick. Probably faster than anyone except for that last race from Paris Sox.
And
so
the
there's
fact is the race did collapse last time, but Paris Sox ran so much better.
yeah.
I agree. And, and Trust Fund, I don't love the claim on Trust Fund. You've got him second. I didn't really like this horse.
Yeah. What did you have against this horse?
I don't know. He just doesn't have any speed at all. And I thought if I was going to take a horse without speed, I'd want a better price. I don't want to take I'll put it this way. I don't want to take shorter priced horses that don't have any speed. And he has no speed. That's what bothers me.
Yeah, I like the consistency from this horse. He usually runs his race, and the figures are consistently better than most in the group.
I don't love 13 Gs here, but my feeling was this could be the other Linda Rice. And this horse, the dirt start on May 24th, I don't know where Thoroughgraph has the horse. I think that race is fast enough to compete in here. Unless the 4 runs his last race, in which she's going to win this, or he's going to win this race. But I thought this might be an interesting horse, even claimed away from Chris Hartman, who's tough to claim from.
Okay.
You didn't like this horse at all. It's fine.
I didn't, but I mean, this is
the horse to
doesn't
talk
mean
about,
anything.
though, is Uncle William. Because, once again, you're dealing with Chad Summers, and I think to ignore the kind of races these horses are running, and here's the race at Ellis last time out that he won. This horse was a private purchase from David Jacobson by that JKX Racing, who seemed to do pretty well with the horses they take over, often at parks and occasionally here. And he is a wild card. He is an outside chaser, so he's not a horse that benefits from a bias. But given these owners and this trainer, I hate horses taken away from David Jacobson, but I think this horse is very scary in here.
Okay. Look at this horse. Obviously, as you talked about with this barn, you have to pay extra attention to anything they send out. For me, though, this horse coming off the bench and where he just produced a career best performance at Ellis.
In August, 6 months ago.
I sort of want to see it again on this circuit.
I don't disagree. You know, I'm wondering, they probably bought this horse, I would assume, between November 18th and December 23rd, working at Churchill, went to Parks.
6-year-old now, too, by the way.
I'm scared of this horse. I agree. This horse, for the most part in the dirt, he's not very good, but he's got a couple races.
Last start was good, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Race number 3. I don't know where you went in here. We'll get to the replay later.
Boy. What?
I took the horse that's the inside speed off the claim for Linda. Thought it was a good claim by Linda, and I thought the Current Climate, even on a fair racetrack, maybe Linda could try to wire the field here with Kendrick. That's all.
That's a pretty good horse that beat that one last time out, 7-time winner that beat Current Climate. My thinking with Shady Side, coming out of that same race with Ready for Trouble, Shady Side was wider all the way around the racetrack that day when they met. The last two efforts off a somewhat lengthy layoff, didn't race from March to November. He's come back with matching the career best, 2 best figures of this filly's career. And, she had to deal with the rail in that first start back. I like that she gets outside this afternoon with that running style. And I think she, in the way she's going right now, pairing up those last 2 starts, takes a move forward today. If she does, it could be very tough.
I find this barn to be very difficult to bet on. I find them to be incredibly inconsistent from race to race. And I also worry that this horse has absolutely no chance on yesterday's racetrack. Having said that, at least she's a price, right? So if you're right, you're right, You and I saw this race very differently, which is not to say I'm right and you're wrong. Like we'll show Cadina's last race. Neither one of us likes Cadina, who I thought might be a little bit short in the morning line. I probably wouldn't have shown it if I hadn't. I thought this horse was very fortunate to win against a weaker field last time. You obviously agree.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that sort of scares me, those 2 efforts at Saratoga were very good.
This horse has good races going back. This horse has raced good bury this field.
Hasn't come close to those since.
I don't like the recent form. I feel like she's going kind of the wrong way. I'm going to try to wire on the inside. You didn't think Good Night, God Bless was a little interesting in here. She kind of lost contact of the field last time, and I'm worried about how badly she ran last time.
That was a lot better company,
the races,
though, too.
2 and 3 back, those are races could easily beat this field, and she's going to be at least, I thought, a reasonable price because these connections aren't going to take a lot of money.
No one in this field would surprise me. This is one of the most, I think, probably the most wide open race in the entire card.
Do we lose? Oh, there we go. Okay. I agree.
No, anyone can win here.
I agree. What do you do with Next on Stage taking the big turn back? I'm afraid that the cutting back, even though she has speed in the past, she's not going to have that same speed. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not thrilled with the riding I've seen from this rider since coming here.
Yeah, look, going longer, cutting back can dull your speed. It does have a good effort and a really good race going 7 furlongs, so is capable sprinting. But that was at 7, and that was when the horse was actually forward on the lead.
All right, we'll see what happens. Confusing race.
And will not get the lead today.
Race number 4 kicks off the pick 6. Pick 6 carryover, 91,497. Thank you for that, Chelsea. This is a funny race because First Trumpet could be the speed in here.
Yeah.
I mean, if not the speed, then the rider is not paying attention. And, her races 2 and 3 back are fast enough to give her a chance. She's not a horse I particularly like, but she's a horse I would have to, if after 3 races you feel like we have the same track we've been having, I would have to include her to pick 6. And I don't really like her. Do you disagree? I mean, isn't she potentially the speed here?
Yeah, potentially the speed, right?
Yeah. I think we'll show Kavanaugh you have on top.
I think Kavanaugh's just a standout. And I don't love saying that. Horse won for 29 winners of 2 last start. But at 1.125 miles, I think this horse is probably just as good, if not better. Horse has run a couple of times at 1.125 miles, equivalent to how good this horse ran last time. Has done it at Churchill, has done it at Oaklawn. and this is one of the career best performances this horse has ever run. So I don't even mind the mile and an eighth, and I don't mind the outside post because the horse has tactical speed to try and get position.
And it's a reclaim for Bruce Brown, who won with the horse last time. So, Bruce has had this horse before. I have nothing against this horse. Is the horse to beat? I'm going to take Indy Rags for Linda, who I thought ran actually fairly well last time. Second place finisher.
Sorry, who?
Indy Rags. For Charlie Baker, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And Charlie's barn's been going very well. This horse beat Caddy Master, came back and improved 8 buyer points in the next start. So I don't know. Maybe that race a little better than it looks, and just feel like this horse took a big move forward. So, we're on the same page, the 4 and 6. I just took the 4 at a slightly better price.
Yeah.
That was all. The horse I do not like is Scatchitap. I know the horse draws the rail, which helps. I respect Antonio Arriaga quite a bit. This horse never left the gold rail last time. I thought this horse's last race is completely dressed up by where he was on the racetrack.
Yeah. 47-1 that day, too.
Yeah, and he's 47-1, and he's 5-2 morning line today. All right, race number 5 as we move along. So here's the horse you picked, Mathia. You bet Mathia last time. You're still sick, and the horse that beat Mathia was Linda Rice, first-time starter. This horse looked absolute home free.
I initially really wanted to knock this horse for losing this race. It looks like there's no way this horse can lose.
I agree.
Opens up a big lead into the stretch. I will say, it was about 3 to 4 wide, and you see the drifting out here in the stretch, all just bad signs. But then you look, this horse was still, with all that, getting run down and beat 10 lengths clear of the rest of the field. So,
and lost to a first-time starter. It's not like it was some horse with bad PPs coming in.
So I didn't want to knock the horse too bad, and then you kind of pick apart the rest of this group. That race still holds up, is a lot better than pretty much what anyone else has in here.
Well, the only horse that's better, I think, and David's got his horse a heavy favorite. You didn't think Kaz Farm Girl's last race was pretty good? I actually thought this horse ran okay behind just pretty good maidens last time.
No, it was good. And stretching out is going to be forward.
Right, that's the thing. I thought there were 3 major players here, and you agree, the 1, 2, and 6. I want the 2 that are forward.
Yeah.
And that's my problem with Mathia. Manny's not supposed to leave the rail, but he's going to have to leave to go around, and I just feel like Island Charm's going to go for Brittany Russell, and Kaz Farms Girl is going to go as well. Now, on a fair racetrack, I don't mind stalking with the 6. On yesterday's racetrack, the 6 stalking outside could be hindered by that against the track. So I just went to the 2 other contenders with more speed. That was as simple as that. The other problem with Thea is 8 to 5 morning line. I agree with how well the horse ran. I just didn't want to take it at a short price.
No,
that was really it.
I completely understand.
All right, we'll see what happens in race 5, the late pick 4, after a quick break.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, boost your bankroll with weekly promotions, and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
We're back. Greg and Andy, race number 6, kicks off the late pick 4. So, what?
Nothing.
You just went to a first-time starter here.
I have reasons.
Okay, well, I would hope so. The hot John Ortiz barn? You love the Dam, who ran 40 buyers?
I like the Dam, who's over 3 lifetime, yeah.
Yeah, I figured that's what it is. You've been waiting for Giant Blossoms Fold to
do you want me to start?
Please.
Those who have run, look, Power Women, everyone's making this horse a small-priced favorite off that one start where she ran a 49 buyer. That's fine.
She's a little suspect.
TriStar Fury, I do like John Ortiz. I don't care that he's 0 for 7 at the meet.
Well, he was due for an 0 for 7
yeah,
or 0 for
he's-
20 because
he's
he was
done
won like
incredible.
12 straight races, right?
The second dam of this horse, Cotton Blossom, won the first 2 starts of her career. She's a Grade 1 winner of the Acorn. She was 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies.
She was Todd Pletcher. She was a dogwood, I think.
Yeah.
I believe, yeah. A nice horse.
Um,
Won the
I
Acorn, you said, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, at a big price. I think she upset the field. She's like 10
Really?
to 1 that day. I think so, yeah.
I want to ask you this question because this dam produced a foal who won the second start of her career. I've never seen a lower buyer figure win a race.
What did she get?
She got, what's the lowest buyer figure you've ever seen win a race?
I've seen figures in the 20s win.
She got a 13 buyer.
Wow.
At Monmouth.
At Monmouth.
In 2022, I believe, and won.
Wow. Not a
I've
key
never
race?
seen that low a buyer win a race.
Yeah, that's got to
Anyway.
be up there. They should have, they have that, they used to have the list with the top buyer figure, like Chaluki's way up there,
Yeah.
Formal Gold. I think Meadow Lake was one of them. Well, I think the biggest one is McLean's Music, the 114.
Yeah, yeah.
They should have the low. The
I
10
was
lowest
shocked
figures
when
to
I saw
win.
that. But so I'm not going to say there's winnerly pedigree here, even though that horse won, because that's. But I do. At least there's some talent in the family, and those who run. I'm not just a huge believer in Power Women. Probably deserves to be the favorite, no question.
She was on a dead rail last time, to be fair, and it was
Okay.
a wet track, so I'll give her that. She's the speed. I didn't want to pick against her. I think if I was sure the track was fair, I might have picked Flea. You don't like Flea at all? I thought Flea was kind of interesting.
Okay. Why?
Well, was wide against the track last time out. I thought, first time out. I mean, the figures aren't that much worse than Power of Woman's. That if you say this horse was against the track in the races that she's run, caught a muddy track the first time out, maybe she could improve, in here second time out. I thought
Yeah.
she was really interesting.
Took money that first start,
Yeah, exactly. She was Linda, so I guess she figured too. She was my other horse, but I'm not going to knock you for taking the 2.
I thought the 6 was actually really
I agree.
interesting. And then obviously then you look at Power of Women, it's going to be forward 2. But for me, Velvet Hammer took a
We
little
say
bit of money
second.
first time out. Battled on the lead with another horse, and always forgive that first start. And now is going to add blinkers and get Lasix. So I thought there were reasons to say Velvet Hammer is going to take a big move forward here.
I also always feel with the first
And a
her,
drop.
even though she collapsed, at least she showed some speed. She didn't
Yes.
trail the field by 20 the entire way
Speed
around.
against better.
I've got her third, and I agree. I thought she could be interesting as well. See what happens in the 6th. Race number 7. I have no problem. I agree with you on Top Player. We'll go back and look at Top Player breaking his maiden 3 races back. I think he's the horse to beat. He's just been running against better horses, and he should be the inside speed. He's absolutely the horse to beat.
You pretty much said it all. Look, big, huge drop. It's George Weaver. Has speed, and this horse every single start too. And it's the reason for the drop needs to drop. But every single start is moved forward figures wise, at least thoroughgraph wise. And as a result of that, I think it's going to be incredibly dangerous here.
Yeah, no, I have absolutely no argument whatsoever against this horse. I just took Merciless Annihilator. Merciless Annihilator.
Merciless.
Merciless Annihilator. I think it's Merciless. Sort of play on Merciless Annihilator. Okay. It's interesting. Linda had a horse she claimed from Larry Ravelli yesterday that looked like the speed on paper that never ran a step. That horse was awful. That horse looked better on paper than it was. Had been running against very bad horses. The numbers actually claimed from Larry Ravelli, off the claim on the dirt from Larry Ravelli, 28 for 119, 24%, 255 ROI. In sprints, they are 20 for 92, 22%, 227 ROI. Goes to Linda, has speed, showed some promise early in the career, obviously fell apart. I took this horse as the other horse in the race at a better price. That was all.
Yeah.
You're not a fan.
No, a horse obviously figures just by the fact alone the horse has speed. And speed and backed up off the bench at Keeneland for sure. I just thought there were several others. To me, the figures were very slow. The Prairie Meadows race was a disaster, but that's fine. Went to the bench.
Obviously.
I can almost put a line through
Last
that
race was a disaster.
Yeah.
I'm not going to defend those things. You've got the 5-second Leamster, but you have the 5-second essentially fast nowhere. Aren't they sort of similar?
I was not a fan. It was obviously essentially fast. That maiden race to me was incredibly slow.
I agree.
And then coming back just showed nothing to me.
I'm interested to see how these horses run, the 3 and 5, because You had talked about Scolo's Folly, who you liked when he won that race for Rick Dutrow. That was ran like a 92 buyer and looked like a stakes horse winning that race. I am very interested to see if that figure holds up over time. It was a very fast race. I'm not suggesting that. And obviously, I would assume from third graph, if you got the horse second, that the race comes up pretty quick. I just am very interested because that horse for Rick, that horse is going to be a stakes horse. I think that's Rick Dutrow. Horse was coming from Laurel. You had liked him.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I just took the alternative to the two. We'll see what happens. Race number 8, I think, is one of the few times we agree today. We'll take a look at other people's money winning last time. And I picked this horse again. I thought the horse ran well last time to win.
Horse ran incredibly good and did this at 1 1/8 where that first turn comes up almost immediately from an outside post. Today actually gets the rail, which is even more beneficial to this horse.
Not a speed, but it's supposed to just sit on the rail, right?
So I think the job gets even easier today for this horse. And if this horse can repeat the race from last time out, we already know Proven can handle this distance. I thought the other one was maybe interesting. There's a big question mark for the 6 at the distance.
Yeah, I also, the 6 coming back now just 7 days after the last race. And this horse wasn't right on the rail, but overall I thought had a reasonably good trip in that race, a little bit off the rail, coming back in a week. And also the 6 projects to be chasing outside at 1 1/8. It just didn't feel like a winning trip for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, David's got full pour is one of 7-2 in here. I thought that horse kind of took advantage of the race falling apart in the late stages to get it done. I had Pocket Queens. We both had Pocket Queens second, but that's another horse that on this racetrack could be badly compromised, right?
Yeah, and just the gaps. Going to try and win off the bench at 1 1/8. I don't love that.
Was against the track last time, but could be against the track again today.
Yeah.
The horse that I do not like, though I picked third, is Capital Gal. Do you know this horse's only 2 dirt wins are at Finger Lakes?
That's. Is there anything wrong with that? That's not. I don't see that as a huge negative.
Well, I think it's a big negative. The horse is 0 for 11 at Aqueduct. And it's not like she's a super long price in these races, 0 for 11. It just feels like this horse just doesn't win. But she could be the inside speed, right?
Yes, absolutely could. But the one's going to go.
Yeah, I don't think the one's going to be in front. I wish Manny would go, but I thought the 3 might be in front. If the one's in front, I don't think the one can lose. We'll see what happens in race number 8. Race number 9, I mean, Hot Gossip, all things being equal, is
Shortest
way
price
the
of the
horse
day?
to beat. Yeah, well, here's the problem. Maybe, but doesn't this – first of all, she should have won this race. She hung like a chandelier. And second of all, if you have yesterday's racetrack, isn't she way against the track?
Yeah, that's not a great thing. And initially you look at this, it's a restricted race for horses that aren't 8 or sold for $60,000 or less. So you look, it's a drop. The horse that beat her actually was sold for $5,000. So it's not really a big drop here. She's
the horse to beat.
A mile clear of the rest of the field.
I agree.
Green in the stretch there, but it is just figure-wise, even before that race, so much the horse to beat. The last race on dirt, the end of the 2-year-old campaign is still the horse to beat.
I agree. I agree with all those things, but you have a horse that could be against the track that hung last time. And I'm going to bet it's Carol's Way, and I think it's important to note that the trainer change, I don't know if we really mentioned this. Oliver Hosang passed away a couple of weeks ago, unfortunately, and obviously condolences to his family. And so this horse goes to Carlos after Oliver Hosang. I remember It's Carol's Way's debut. Remember, this horse took a lot of money to be that price for that barn, and I actually thought it ran fairly well. Last time out, inside speed track, was on the inside, angled out in the stretch, so it's not as though this horse was way against the track last time, but was a little against it. I thought got some overall relief. I mean, other than the horse, the 8 horse, who am I supposed to really be that afraid of in here? I mean, the 1 is okay. I don't love the race that horse is coming out of. K-Road is okay, but I don't trust the last race is necessarily indicative, so I wanted to take the 7, a horse that I thought had sneaky okay form and could be a little bit more forward.
All right. I thought the 1 was somewhat interesting. It's obviously a strong barn.
Yep.
It was a debut. The horse took money, and at least has some tactical speed. So the one to me is I don't think you're going to get 6-1 either.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was impossible. It does have the rail and should be, well, the horse doesn't have speed, according to Time from U.S. It was a slow pace last time. They have the 6 Call Me Jal in front, who I guess if you have yesterday's track becomes a little interesting. And that's the thing, you know, at least with playing the pick 6, you can see the first 3 races, but you've really got to be sort of, you know, constructing your play around the racetrack. I hope we have a fair track today.
I mean, a normal day, the 8 would be odds on here, right?
The 8 is probably the biggest single on the sequence on a fair racetrack. But it just becomes so tricky. And I think one of the reasons that we have a double carryover is the racetrack.
Yeah.
So, you know, it makes it harder to play. All right. It's fun as always. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Chris Griffin is up next with a reprise to Scratch and Changes. You head to Naira Bets. If you're not a member, use the promo code bonus 200. We'll match for $200 of your initial deposit. Play for Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime, anyhow, any place. $15 bonus. Greg's already opted in. He's very big at Turf Paradise. $75 at Aqueduct, $75 at Turf Paradise, $15 bonus. And once again, pick 6 carryover, $91,497 starts in race 4. Thank you again, Greg. Chris Griffin up next. The reprise, the Scratches and Changes.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to